Avi in particular was well overdue for a beating. Punch Avi 2024, they can't arrest us all. Incitement to violence.
Wow.
Avi better stay the f*** away from me or he will be needing a dentist.
Yeah, this is the style of characters that support Hamas. That's not even surprising to us. What's surprising?
Look at it, and it's not only Arab, it's also your white liberals. Avi Yemini has been begging for a beating for years. Thanks, bro.
These are just...
This is your tolerant left and their unholy alliance with self-proclaimed Hamas supporters, terrorists, jihadis that will throw them off the roof as soon as they're done with us. One of Australia's most infamous anti-Israel activists from Gaza, Mohammed Sharab, who is currently behind bars awaiting trial for alleged kidnap and torture, has begun scrubbing the internet of his incriminating posts since October 7. Sharab has certainly been busy in jail, first pleading guilty to assaulting two Australia-born and bred independent journalists he doesn't like, myself and Rukshan Fernando.
What do you think? I'm on bail, I'm not going to do anything? What? What do you think?
For months, the violent Palestinian immigrant was brazen about his unlawful behaviour, often doing it in front of police, but now seems to be trying to cover his tracks before the big trial. Thankfully, though, a concerted citizen group has been downloading and logging his extremist content since the beginning of the year. Why have they been saving his content?
Okay, well, since the 20th of February, which was the night outside the Melbourne Town Hall where my husband, myself and my friend were assaulted and harassed by Mohammed, Anihab al-Zahri and another guy called Abdul Rahman, we were trying to demonstrate to the police that these were not peaceful protests. And the streets have not been safe for Jewish people since February, potentially even before that. University campuses as well. These protesters have basically hijacked the streets. Swanston Street's a no-go zone for us. Parliament House is a no-go zone for us. Even the universities have been overtaken by these violent protesters. So we were actually just keeping a dossier to demonstrate to the police why they actually needed to be controlled.
Well, good on you, because now we can see that much of it has been scrubbed. Let's watch a couple of the worst clips, in my opinion.
I am not calling for peace or ceasefire anymore, and say whatever you want to say about me. I'm not calling for that. No ceasefire, no peace. Because peace, that's their world, the colonizer world. Liberation is our world. Liberation is what we are after. Liberation is what we want. Liberation is not a slogan. Liberation is a demand, and that's our fucking demand.
And a big thank you that needs to be paid to the resistance. Long live the resistance, long live fucking Hamas.
They give America what it deserves, death. That's what America deserves. That's what American colony deserves. That's what American leaders deserves.
Pretty scary stuff, and it's confronting even if you're not Jewish or not a Zionist, if you're an Australian.
Absolutely.
Why do you think he's scrubbing it now?
A couple of reasons. I guess the fact that his solicitor has probably suggested to him that they're going to be looking at him on character grounds when that comes to sentencing, and all this evidence of trying to dismantle the colony, also talking about Australia here, it's obviously going to demonstrate that his character is a problem to us. It's also topical because, you know, we're looking at bringing in 2,992 Gazans. And, you know, if Mohammed Sharab is an example, we really need to be very sceptical about the culture and the violence that we're bringing in here. Australia has approved more visas for Gazans than the rest of the world combined. Do you know how many Gazans the Arab countries have accepted?
None.
Zero.
We know that, and in fact we started a petition and it's got well over 20,000 Australians signing, nogazans.com, where people are begging the government to reject all visas from Gaza to ensure we don't bring in the Mohammed Sharabs. And what I find interesting, while they're scrubbing his online footprint and his behaviour over the last year, his own fans have reacted to his pleading guilty of assaulting myself and Rukshan with threats of violence. I'll show you a couple here now.
It's not even surprising, it's their mode of operation.
The threats of violence in response to their hero, and from the comments you can see that they're heroes, Punch Avi 2024, they can't arrest us all. Incitement to violence.
Wow.
Shame on the magistrate. They're condemning the magistrate for convicting, not even convicting, he got on
good behaviour bond.
Got a good behaviour bond. Somebody that's sitting in jail for alleged very violent crimes.
And the fact that he was bailed for that crime in the first place is really a mystery to us. And the fact that while he was out on bail, he was so bold as to actually still attack you and Rukshan while the cameras are watching, while the police are there. It's absolutely crazy how bold they are.
Shame on the cops and the magistrates. Like, these guys are outraged. The fans of Sharab and that entire violent movement from Gaza to Melbourne, they will condemn. In Israel, it's the IDF or the law enforcement or the military for protecting its people. And in Australia, it's the police and the justice system for holding him accountable for his violent behaviour.
These people are agents of chaos.
Avi in particular was well overdue for a beating.
Wow.
This is who they are.
Yeah.
Avi better stay the away from me or he will be needing a dentist.
Yeah, this is the style of characters that support Hamas. That's not even surprising to us. What's surprising?
Look at it, and it's not only Arab, it's also your white liberals. Avi Yemini has been begging for a beating for years. Thanks, bro.
These are just...
This is your tolerant left and their unholy alliance with self-proclaimed Hamas supporters, terrorists, jihadis that will throw them off the roof as soon as they're done with us. Mohammed Sharab is a champion for beating those little weasels. So this is not just one person. This is the mentality of this whole thing. So I guess what's the message you want people to take from this? What do you want people to understand from this?
Well, a few things. First of all, these pro-Hamas supporters, they are violent. They're violent, you know, to me and my husband and our friend just walking into the town hall. This is not a safe environment for us anymore. I never ever thought that I would see this in my lifetime. My father actually was a Holocaust survivor, born in 1919 in Poland. 7 of his siblings were all murdered. He and 1 brother managed to survive. Never in a million years did I actually think that I would understand the mentality of people who stood by and allowed a genocide, a real genocide, to actually happen in their lifetime on their land. So here we have people in Australia, really activists just looking for a cause, who are, you know, calling out intifada revolution and from the river to the sea. And we do know that they are violent calls for the eradication of Israel. And I mean, they say so, you know, Mohammed actually says so. If we look at some of these post that he has now deleted, the beginning of the end, you f***ing with the wrong generation, and then emojis of, I don't know, jihadists and fire and swords. Another one, may God have mercy on my enemies because I won't. Oh Allah, forgive me my wrongs, I have only just begun. And again, a sword and a jihadist fighter. Here he is all decked out in, you know, logos with Hamas. The other interesting thing is, you know, if you look at land forces and all the other protests that have been in Melbourne, they all turn up with kafirs and face masks disguising themselves, which I thought was another crime actually. You know, if you look up the Crimes Act, it actually says that if you disguise yourself for the purpose of committing a crime, that's even a more serious crime. Why are the police allowing all of this to happen? And why has it been happening for the last 11 months?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And I think that that's why the broader Australian public, not just the Jewish community, owes you a thank you for actually doing the work and putting in the time, and like many others that are doing the same as part of that group. Because first they come for the Saturday people, then they come for the Sunday people. It's always been like that. Well, people that don't realise that, including the woke lefties that are encouraging them to turn violent on what they perceive as their political enemies.
Well, we've got the perfect example of that when we've got 2 innocent violin-playing buskers in Bourke Street Mall a couple of weeks ago. And I've spoken to Cam many times. He's a 25-year-old guy who was not looking for any sort of political demonstration. You know, he's minding his own business, playing the guitar in Bourke Street. The next thing you know, Hash Taye and his hundreds of minions turn up in Bourke Street. Accuses Cam of saying something that he never said. They accused him of saying something like, fuck the Palestinians and go home, in order to justify the fact that they harassed him, assaulted him, damaged his equipment and provoked him. He never said anything of the sort. Just by some actual miracle, Channel 9 was already there filming them while they were busking, and they've got both the audio and the video, which demonstrate he never said anything of the sort. And you've got all these hundreds of people that have gone onto Cam's social media and accused him of saying something that he didn't say, but because Hash said he said it, well, that's good enough for that. You know, a lie can spread very, very quickly, and especially when you've got people like Clementine Ford and Hash Tyre with thousands of credulous supporters who are willing to do anything and say anything, and they're all, you know, threatening Cam, a non-Jewish guy playing the violin in Blackburg Street Mall. What did he have to do with anything?
And I'll go back to the original point. If you're encouraging, if you believe bringing in more of these people from Gaza is a good idea, you can expect a lot more of this. In fact, if you look at Mohammed Sharab's own trial, his argument for leniency was that he had 50 family members killed. Now let's just pretend that he never lies, and let's go with that evidence he gave the court under oath. Statistically, that would mean that at least 25 of his family members are Hamasniks, and we don't have to imagine that. Mohammed Sharab himself has marched Melbourne streets with Hamas patches on him. He's in videos.
Voting home Hamas, saying long live Hamas.
Long live Hamas.
He needs to pay thanks to Hamas.
So you're going to bring in people that share the same ideology as ISIS. The Hamas charter spells it all out. Yes, they will first target Avi Yemeni, then they will go for the random busker. And it is important for every Australian to know that it is not the time to be apathetic. You may think this is just about Jews and Arabs or Palestinians or Zionists against the world. It's not, because what this really is about good and evil. What we stand for in the West, freedom and democracy against authoritarian Islamist ideology that will come for you next. And if you don't want that to happen, sign the petition at nogazans.com. That's all I can say.
It's funny that they use our freedoms against us. So all the freedoms that they wouldn't have back in their own home to protest and dismantle the colony and call our Prime Minister a dickhead would be, you know, jailable or worse offences there. So even though they want to dismantle the colony, they want to use all the freedoms that we offer in order to, you know, have this bad behaviour all over our streets. And then if they want to dismantle our colony because it's such a bad place to be, why do they want to bring 2,992 of their mates in?
If you think it's important for the world to see what Mohammed Sharab has actually been up to in the last year, even though he's now trying to scrub it, make sure to like, comment, but most importantly, share it far and wide, because you're not going to be able to rely on the mainstream media. They've been pretty much radio silent since October 7th, so it's up to you guys at home. And then head over to nogazans.com. If you haven't done so already, sign and share the petition. If you have signed it already, pass it on to someone else to do it, because the last thing we need are more of these violent Hamasniks down under. nogazans.com.